This video has found you because you and spirituality go together real bad. Faux ill, if you will. And what I mean by that is you have a particular calling. For some of you, this has something to do with ninth house, fifth house energy regarding inclusion and exclusivity. You are part of a spiritual in crowd, if you will. Now, this is not implying that anyone else is not in, but this message is for you because you may have never ever felt included or as if you belonged in a particular space, area, or arena. Spirituality is your tidbit, whether that be you doing what I'm doing here, reading energies, tarot. There are people that do so many different things. There are people that do things that fall under a specific religion, category, or umbrella, while others do things that are completely independently owned by themselves. They created their own routines, but it's their own spiritual path. This video has found you. I'm going to say it again because you and spirituality go together real bad. Now, for some of you, this is referring to the fact that you can monetize this. More than likely, you can monetize this. Not saying that you have to. But for some of you, the reason why this is being stated is because it can really help you to bring clarity to a particular aspect of your life, where you may feel a lack of fulfillment, or you feel a calling or a purpose but don't know what to do. It's because you're meant to mend spirituality and make it essentially pay for your life. But that doesn't mean that you have to be sitting here and doing what I'm doing. That means that you can be using your spiritual gifts in a different career field or whatever it may be, but in a very unique way to you, so that you can feel the sense of fulfillment and also have that sense of stability and security in this matrix of a world. Okay. Now, for those of you that don't believe in monetizing gifts, we're not here to judge. Okay. Then you yourself are being brought to this video simply because that means that there is some sort of practice or something that you would really benefit from discovering. Okay. And that has me thinking of transmutation. Some of you, there is some sort of spiritual practice or belief or superstition, something, form of protection, something that you yourself could truly benefit from, and it would help you to transmute your energies, to alter your energies, to take something negative and turn it into a positive, to alchemize your energies. Exactly. Oh, wow. That felt, wow. I don't know how to describe that, but for some reason it kind of felt like doing that. Someone like stubbed their toe, broke a nail, something like that. Like it's there's something kind of painful. And Six of Pentacles, Nine of Wands, but what I wanted to show you was the Five of Cups at the bottom of the deck that really didn't want to be seen. There was a lot of shame in that whole experience just now, that whole shebang. There was this need of like feeling like we need to hide something, or we need to feel shamed about it. So there's something that you feel like you need to hide or that you feel shamed for. And that the response is okay. That makes a lot of sense. The restrictions that you're placing on yourself spiritually is breeding lack, depression, anxiety, lack of interest in life, lack of interest in a will to go on. It's infringing on your happiness, some sort of restrictions that you've put yourself under, or some sort of cage that you've been placed in that doesn't allow you to explore yourself spiritually speaking, has you feeling cooped up. And you feeling cooped up, oh my gosh, doesn't give you room to grow. It's like a plant. So this is a card that represents introspection of self, to the self, about the world. And the Ace of Swords represents truths, as I've been talking about, you being into you, feeling like you only have you, feeling like you can't go beyond these bounds, these standards that make up you. You have to break free, whatever that means for you. And that requires you to call some shots. May require you to hurt some feelings, but not in vain, okay? Sometimes the truth hurts. It's that concept, because you are a badass being full of life, love, and possibilities. And this is you finding the path to your best self. There's a lot of confidence hidden away, hidden out of your sight, because of these crippling restrictions. Five of Pentacles, you're not able to tap into your highest and greatest potential. You're not able to alchemize, to align. So if this video found you, you may also be feeling stuck in your life. Why is that? Because of the feeling of being cooped up. The lack of room to grow. You feel like you're constantly pushing things off and fighting things away. You can't grow in that environment. We've come right back to this. Introspection, looking into the self. How do I describe this? It's like, think of a plant that is self-aware, and that plant is you. And all you see is darkness around you, and it's just the dirt. And you're just kind of like moving your roots around, wiggling your roots around. They've grown, but now they're hitting the sides. They're hitting the sides of the pot in which you're planted. What can you do about that as the plant? You cannot. So what can you do? Remove yourself from the perspective of the self-actualized or self-realizing or self-aware plant. Remove yourself from that and zoom out to step into the omniscient presence of God. You have the vision to see, you have the clarity, but only if you believe. If you believe that you are just that self-aware plant in that pot, then that's all you shall be. But if you believe that you are that self-aware plant, as well as that pot, as well as the one that placed it and cared for it up until this point, that is when you can begin to alter, control the image that you see based on your perspective. You are only as limited as your vision. So, what does that mean? We must take the time to learn how to alchemize. And for you, that starts with finding your peace, finding your center, not allowing the external world to infringe upon your internal world, not allowing external validation to trump internal validation. This also looks like many forms of self-control. And that looks different for everyone, those different forms. It looks like working on the self, visualizing the self as the plant, the pot, the dirt, and the one that nursed it to life. This is like you are zooming out from the seed to see the plant that it is becoming and growing into being before it even becomes it. Visualization techniques will do you extremely well, as well as affirmations. Anything that ultimately will reprogram your mind to believe a new paradigm so that you can shift. So that in that shift comes with the ability to alchemize. And alchemization comes with the ability and the knowing of the power of self and the connection from self to the divine. But you need to be peaceful with that knowing. That knowing, that brainwashing that we're essentially trying to do for the better. You've been brainwashed into this cooped up position, and now we're trying to brainwash you into a more free roaming type of space so you can stretch your legs. This doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean that you're breaking any laws, spiritual rules, or boundaries. You're just giving yourself room that you need to grow, because you weren't given those visions or that potential just for it to go to waste or to be told about in fantasies and folklore of what could have, would have, should have been done if only we had moved. And right now, your only need for movement is through visualizations. Start there, because you can only go as far as you can see. And what I mean by that is that you don't have to have the exact vision. You do not have to have the exact vision, because even when you think you have the vision, it always is tweaked along the way. But what I simply mean is that you just need to be aware of space that is able to be taken up around you instead of feeling cooped up. You need to feel that white light of space around you to be filled with the good, with the love, with what you need, with what you want, with what you have, with who you know, with who you are, with where you're going. You have to see beyond the 3D to know that there's always more. I really hope I'm putting this into digestible terms for you. Instead of feeling like that plant that is just the plant inside of that pot, you need to feel like you are the painter of the picture by also being the plant and visualizing and zooming out to see, okay, how do I want this to look? What do I want this to look like? This 3 of Wands here, it's like expansion over this barren land. Fill it with things that you like. Fill it with things that you love. And if you don't know what to fill it with God, and God will do the rest. Someone here is nervous about asking for the wrong thing or something of the sorts. Just put your faith in God and create the space. Visualize the space of the white light and ask God to fill it with what you need. If you're afraid to be specific, this group here, some are afraid of terms like manifesting and things, and that could be the box that you're in, because it doesn't matter what you label it. If it's good for you, you need to do it. If this video found you, it's time for you to accept that you and spirituality go together real bad. It's not a delusion. You're not crazy. You just need to figure out how to apply it in your world. And all you need to start with is a visualization technique of picturing that white light that can be filled with whatever you need. Signing off. This has been Cherie.